Hi guys, welcome to Soul Survivor Online. This is very fun to be with you in this way, in a very new and different way. Thanks for joining us. Today, I would love to introduce you to Nerida, and we are going to have just a really general chat about social media. How should we be thinking about it? What do we post, and how does it affect us in the way that we think and our journey with Jesus? But first, Nerida, can you tell us a little bit about you and about your world?
Sure. So my name's Nerri. I own a business in ethical online fashion, but I also work part-time at a not-for-profit that helps entrepreneurs and startups and in the innovation space and stuff like that. So my time is spent certainly in the area of entrepreneurism, and is that even a word? Entrepreneurialism? I think that's the word.
Yeah, I reckon.
Entrepreneurism. Anyway, with a lot of people that like starting new things. That's where I spend a lot of my time.
Amazing. That's so good. And so socials is a big part of your life and with your work, but also in, everyday life.
Yeah.
But for you, Nerida, what is it like to engage with social media? How do you engage with it?
Yeah. So, I grew up without social media. I'm old enough to have not had social media as a thing when I was a teenager. I'll leave you guys to figure out how old you think I am. So I think social media is really fascinating from the way it's kind of influenced us. It influences business. It changes the way we perceive the world, and certainly influences like kind of our choices in the way that we not only conduct ourselves, but in the things we choose to surround ourselves with as well. So,
yeah, totally. It's funny how, like, for me, I think so I've got two lanes in life. I've got like my personal profiles, and then I've got work profiles, but I also have my photography profile. And it's funny how I will react and also post differently based on what I'm trying to achieve. So with the photography stuff, I do kind of do like the grid thing, and like my friend has his notifications on for me, and he gets annoyed because I'll post 6 photos to see what it looks like, and then I'll take them all down.
I've never done that, but that is awesome.
Totally. And then for my personal one, I'll just like post whatever, because I love the people in that photo, and that was such a great time or a great weekend or whatever. But Nerida, like, we do this thing where we post our kind of highlights in life. Do you think that like that affects the way that we view the world?
Oh, hugely. I think it affects us in like really obvious ways and really not so obvious ways. I think about even my home and the certain items I choose to put into my home are heavily influenced by different interior design people that I follow on Instagram, or different images I've seen. We're visual people. Like, our eyes are so important to the way that we engage with the world. And so, in really obvious ways and in not so obvious ways. Like, I know I've looked at Instagram and scrolled through a bunch of photos, and then kind of 5 minutes later gone, I don't feel so good about myself. And it's not because there was anything that was like specific in that scroll that made me feel bad, but it was just this sense of like, oh, well, I've now looked at all these amazing photos of this person's life and these people's life and this amazing business or whatever, and now I'm just looking around and here I am in my bedroom, and it's not as fabulous as those kind of pictures up here. And so I compare myself in that moment to going, well, my bedroom doesn't look as pretty as that bedroom that person posted, and how immaculate and perfect, and the most amazing monstera plant in the corner and the white bedding and whatever it is. Like, I look at it and go, oh, my bedroom doesn't look at all like that.
Yeah.
And so I often find myself, as I'm scrolling through, particularly Instagram, I'm like you, probably Instagram's my favorite, but as I'm scrolling through, I start to feel like not so great about myself. And I often arrive at this point of going, okay, why do I do this again? Like, why am I looking at Instagram? Why am I spending my time doing this? And often in that moment, we'll shut it down and put it away, because obviously it's not something that's actually bringing life to me in that moment. And I shouldn't be engaging with it because it's not being helpful So
Yeah, no, it's true. It has such a because I guess we're always posting our highlights reel. We're always posting the best bits, and even when people do no makeup selfies or whatever, they always put themselves in really good lighting or whatever.
yeah.
It's the worst, but it's not. And it's just I find it hard because we can't compare real life to someone else's highlights reel.
Exactly.
That's, first of all, it's not me. It's not the way that God's designed me in my life.
Yeah.
And also it's not really healthy because we're trying to find our identity in other things.
Yeah. It's also not possible.
Yeah, oh, totally.
It's actually an impossible thing to do.
Yeah.
Is to take someone's highlight reel and turn it into your life.
But we can choose who and what we listen to.
Yeah.
With social. So Meredith, you're going to share about this in a second, but for me with my photography page, I really like talking about community on that page because that's what it's centered around. It's centered around a lot of surf community, the surf photography community, and we have a great time. We run workshops and we have 40 people come, and we do all these things based around an Instagram community. But that's because we've chosen to talk about these things and we've chosen to listen to each other, but also we now know each other because we've been able to meet up and do all that kind of thing. But Nerri, you also have heaps of strong views on how and what we should listen to through socials. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. And first of all, I would say that sense of community, that want to communicate community comes through in your Instagram feed. As someone who's an observer, because I follow you obviously, I would say that I get that vibe of community. And I think that is also one of the benefits of social media, because there are benefits to social media, that it can connect you with people that you would not have ever connected with before. You can build community in a way that you'd never would have done so before. So that's certainly one of the plus sides of social media. I'm always challenged by the question of who do you listen to, and are you listening to people that actually have what you want in a way that's a positive kind of thing. So quite a while ago, when I was just going through the motions of social media, I realized that a lot of the content that I was looking at just didn't make me feel good, like I was saying. It wasn't really speaking life. And so I had to think about what kind of messages I wanted to read, I wanted to receive. And so I started to follow people, and for me it was definitely from a business slant, certainly businesses that were successful, but also inspiration around sticking it out through the tough times, inspiring quotes of, in the business context, or achieving your dreams, or those kinds of things. I started to follow accounts that matched what I wanted to see or achieve in my life, not from a comparison standpoint, but as a motivation standpoint. I have found inspiration. I have found quotes up here that just really speak into my situation in that moment. I have found amazing business women to kind of inspire me, to encourage me. Like Lisa Messenger is one of my all-time favorite people, and her feed is always so positive and it's always so encouraging. You can do this. And it's that person, Lisa Messenger, is someone I want to listen to, because what she's saying motivates me. It doesn't cause me to compare. It motivates me. When I post, know that I've not just posted whatever. I've actually thought about what I'm saying to you, because I'm speaking to you. When I'm posting, I'm speaking to anyone who's following me. I'm saying something to you. So what am I saying to you? Am I trying to tell you that my life's better than yours? Am I trying to speak life into yours? So I post when it could be a moment, a memory I want to capture, or something that points back to God. A beautiful scene. You'll see a lot of scenery. I post a lot of the area that I live in, lots of beaches, lots of just beautiful. I happen to live in a beautiful part of the world, so it's not hard for me to do. Or I'll post about my nieces and nephews because I just love them and I think they're amazing. But a lot of it is trying to kind of think about who's speaking to me. So what am I allowing in, and what am I speaking out? What am I saying to the people that choose? Because to hit that follow button, you choose to follow. You choose to say, I want to know what you have to say. So if 100 years from now, someone finds my social media account for whatever reason, and they look at it, what have I said? What would they understand of my life? What would they understand of me? What would they learn if there was anything there to learn? And I think us kind of adding value, when we need to value social media in a way of like, what am I saying?
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think like the thing for me with all of that is like, I want to know that I'm first and foremost speaking out that I'm a child of God and glorifying him in that way. And I was reading earlier, I was thinking about the fact that our identity is in Christ always. And so that includes, you know, what we choose to listen to, what we choose to hear, what we choose to follow, should first and foremost be God. And I think that our lives, including our social media platforms, should reflect that. And one of the things I was reading was from Galatians 2:20. It says, I've been crucified with Christ. We've just had Easter. I've been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. And I love that because it's all about us and God living together and the sacrifice that he's made for us so that we can live in relationship with him, so that we can find our identity in him, and so that we can glorify him with our whole lives. And you guys might have seen some of the other workshops in this space that talk about living and glorifying God with our whole lives, worshipping with our whole lives. And that includes socials. I think it's all about choices. And I think a lot of the time I don't think before I post too much. And I'd really like to do that better. And I'd really like to be able to reflect God's glory better, I think. It's probably the challenge that's come out of me for today. Is there anything for narrator from you that you'd like to say before we wrap on up?
No, I think that we've kind of covered up what I feel is the most important thing, and that is to actually think about social media. Don't just go along with the crowd. Don't just follow along. Think about what is, because you spend so much time on it. So what is it about it that you want to use it for? How do you want to it to reflect your life, or what messages do you want to give out? What ways do you want to be a voice of encouragement in a sea of comparison? And how can you speak love through your social media to those around you and not just your highlights?
Bring it, guys. What a challenge. That's so good. Nerida, thank you so much for your time and for chatting socials with us. Guys, you should definitely chuck Nerri a follow just for fun. There's her Instagram handle. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Go and enjoy the other workshops, and we'll look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye.
Hey, guys. Bye.